Hello, everybody, and welcome to Doom Clock. Let me make it so that you can hear our lovely cast. I think you can now. Yes, thank you everybody for joining us. This is going to be the Majestic Goose newest actual play show on the market. It is going to be a monthly Twitch stream, first Friday of every month, and it's going to be a maybe monthly podcast. I have not figured out that yet, but it will be, every episode will be up to date before the next stream prior. So if you listen to the podcast, you will be able to jump right into the next stream, vice versa, however you want to do it. We will first go around the table and have everybody introduce themselves as a player, just so that you all can get to know our cast. We will start just in the top left corner. My camera is backwards with Jeremy Fair. Jeremy, where can people find you at, and who are you?
Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy. You can find me at Tabletop Jeremy, where I post all the different stuff related to all my different podcasts and just on the Majestic Goose Network in general. I am going to be playing Theodore Copper, and Theodore Copper is the scholar, which you'll find out just means he's a big fucking nerd.
we'll, we'll go down right under Jeremy to Joe.
I'm Joseph Timmis. I'm going to be playing Pappy, Eugene Gluck, and I am the Drifter. That's my background. I'm the Fool and the Drifter.
Awesome. And then we'll circle back around to Danny.
Hi, I'm Danny. You can find me online as Danielle Lanois. And for this, I will be playing Gwyn Vandermeer, the socialite.
Okay, and then last but not least, we have got Ernest.
Hey, I'm Ernest. You can find me on Twitter at Hollow Invective. I will be playing Corsair Jones, the erstwhile survivor.
And welcome everybody. If you don't know about what we're talking about with Survivor and Socialite, do not worry. This is going to be a session 0 where not only do we give an overview of the characters, we give an overview of Shiver, because when I say Shiver is new, I mean Shiver came out 2 days ago. We almost were going to be using just the quick start, like, free rule set for this system and for the session 0, and them and us both made it under the wire with the system launch and everything. So don't worry about that. We'll also be talking about the setting a little bit. This world that we all are going to be making collaboratively. So first, I think a good thing is to I think we'll do a little bit of a system overview first, just so that when we get into everybody's characters, if they've got any kind of like special talents or traits, I think it'll make more sense if we know exactly like what that entails. So Shiver is the dice system boils down to 2 different kinds of dice. It has core dice skills, and it has got talent skills. So the core dice skills are the symbols are actually behind me right there, but they are. Let me just pull up the sheet that I should have definitely had pulled up first and foremost. So they are grit. So grit, you can think of it as like strength. It's, anytime you got to do anything heavy. Athletic ability, climbing, punching, running. There is wit, picking locks, sneaking, stealth, sleight of hand, throwing objects, firearm proficiency. It's kind of like dex. Smarts is obtaining knowledge of your surroundings, improvising weapons and tools using computers and tech. Heart is persuasion, deception, performance, any action that is just pure charisma. There is luck, which is a little bit different than the others. Luck determines how naturally lucky you are. Adds random boost through all of your actions, and anytime there's a kind of a gamble, it helps you there. And then there is Strange. And Strange, you use its magic, psychic powers, unnatural abilities. And the way that is determined is if somebody has, say, 5 grit, and then they have to make a grit check, they will roll 5 dice, and every little grit symbol that pops up will be a success. So it's pretty simple. It gets a little bit different when you add in talent dice. So talent dice, it's a D8. And there's various symbols. We don't really have to get into exactly how many symbols on each side of the die, but there's only 2 different kinds of symbols, though. There is talent and strange. So you can either, a talent is a success for no matter what it is. So if you're rolling a grit and you get that talent symbol, it counts as a grit. If you roll wit and you get a talent symbol, it counts as a wit. So it's kind of like a universal good thing. And I'll be asking for checks throughout different adventures, just much like a DC, just similar to the difference being if I'm gonna probably use Dungeons and Dragons as a touchstone a little bit, because I think that's I know that's the most popular ttrpg out there. So if you're thinking of a challenge rating of like 20 being very hard, like in Dungeons and Dragons, that would probably be a 5 in Shiver. So 1's easy, 2 mediums, 3 is hard, 4 is very hard, 5 is near impossible. So if I ask Joe for a grit check, and it's something that's going to be really hard, he's got to lift a school bus by himself. Damn it, Joe's gonna probably need to roll 5 grit checks, and it may not be possible for Joe's character. We will get into the character soon, but I know a little bit about his character. I don't think that's gonna be possible for him, really. So yeah, that's the dice. It's those 2 different things, and you get into some different rules like advantage and disadvantage, where if somebody maybe was recently shot in their arm and they need to make a grit check to carry something, maybe they'll get a disadvantage where they will, if it's a minor disadvantage, they'll lose 1 dice in their core dice pool. If it's a major disadvantage, they'll lose a talent dice, or vice versa. If they're doing something that's very clever, they may be granted a minor advantage or a major advantage, and that's either getting a core skill dice or a talent dice. I want to kind of break this up a little bit, so it's not just me just going over the system. I do want to make sure, because this is going to be an ongoing podcast and stream, I do want to make sure that the listeners know, what's going on, and whether they buy the system, don't buy the system, at least be able to understand enough. So I'm trying to hit like the high level, but I think with the dice out of the way, I think we can kind of now shift a little bit to some character development stuff, because I think that's going to be much more interesting than just me rattling off a bunch of rules. Who would like to start the character kind of interview with me process of talking about their character and what time they're from? Any takers?
Y'all jump at once. I guess
I'll do
go.
it.
Oh, okay, Danny.
All right. So, Danny,
Yes.
I mentioned what time you're from. We will be getting into the setting of this story in this session 0, this overview. But one thing that before we get into the character creation, we do need to let the audience know is that it is going to be a time traveling show. And these 4 members are all members of the Watch, which is the Worldwide Association of Time Conservation and Harmony. And they can be from any period of time. I actually do not know what period of time everybody is from, so this is going to be news to me as well. I'm very excited to hear it. But the current present true timeline year is 2101. but they can be from anywhere. So, Danny, where is your character from? What year? I mean,
So she got picked up from 2018.
2018. Oh, that's relatively that's pretty recent. Okay.
Recent.
I was trying to
Yeah.
do some math. For some reason in my mind, I thought it was 1918 or 1818, and then I realized, oh no, that was like
Nope.
2.5 years ago. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So, what is your character's name?
Her name is Gwyn Vandermeer.
Gwen Vandermeer. And what before we get into any kind of character questions, what is your so for the character creation for Shiver, it pretty much boils down to 3 different choices. There is your archetype, your background, and your fear. What is your character's archetype?
Her archetype is socialite.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit about that one? Because honestly, I haven't dug super
Yeah,
deep
let
into
me-
the character archetypes yet. So I know,
Let me get back to that page. So
yeah. So my general knowledge of the
the
character,
basics of it. She is the charismatic one. The summary is problems sometimes need a charismatic touch to be solved, whether through kindness or compassion. This archetype dominates in all social situations.
Okay,
So she is a face.
gotcha. And okay, so for the backgrounds on the system, you can mix and match them a lot. What background did you end up going with for Gwen?
Mm-hmm. I chose the lawyer, and that one, let me pull that up.
So are you like a legit lawyer from
So-
2018?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
It's more sort of personality. Silver-tongued and quick-witted to the extreme, you can bamboozle and confound others with words and convince them that being on your side is the best idea.
Cool.
So
Okay.
I'm a talker.
Okay. And what is Gwen's biggest fear? So now this is one thing where fear is obviously. I keep saying that this is going to be well, the idea is for it to be kind of like a horror show, but me being so bad at horror, I've been calling it a comedy horror show because that's probably what it's going to end up being, comedy first and then maybe some horror. We'll see if I get better as it goes on. But that being said, with it being a horror show, we may get into things that I even though we are trying to make it a horror genre, we don't want people to not be having fun due to real horrors and fears that they have. So we talked a little bit earlier about trying to make sure that we don't pick any characters' fears that are actual, like any kind of triggers or anything for anybody else in the party. I do think we only got one no. But if anybody other characters come up with one that somebody didn't think about, we may need to adjust those because I do plan on using these fears for the character fears in the show. So what is Gwen's fear?
Well, it's one of the more ephemeral ones. It's not like spiders. She is afraid of abandonment, of being left alone.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that could probably definitely play a part in an actual story that we go on. So cool. Okay, before we get into any of the other kind of things, I think it will help the most if we get those high levels of everybody's characters, and then from there we can start to ask kind of some personal relationship questions and personal questions. Joe, you were also volunteering to go. What is your character's name?
Eugene Gluck, also referred to as Pappy.
Pappy. I think I'll remember Pappy the most, so I hope it's okay if I call him Pappy also.
Yeah, that's his nickname.
What year is Pappy from?
1932.
1932. Okay. All right. I'm all ready with just 2 characters. I'm already really liking this this dynamic. What is Pappy's archetype?
The archetype is Fool.
The Fool. Can
Yes.
you explain a little bit about what the Fool does?
Bumbles through life. I figured the less RP I have to do,
The
the
easier.
better. No, the Fool does lean heavily on luck. They're not specifically talented in any one genre except for luck.
Cool. That'll be fun. What's Pappy's background?
He is the Drifter.
Okay. Cool. Does that give... I forget. Do the backgrounds give any actual mechanical bonuses?
They give
Some-
abilities. Some of them give abilities.
Some of them
Cool.
give abilities. Some of them do give slight die bonuses based on certain situational things.
I also, one thing that I don't know if I've actually got in my notes anywhere to point out, but there's also flaws for characters. Do backgrounds go with
Yes.
flaws?
Yes, backgrounds. Every background comes with a flaw.
Oh.
Couple backgrounds come with 2 flaws.
Ooh.
If you're, 2 flaws if you're nasty.
We'll take a step back real quick. Danny, what's your character's flaw?
My flaw is that I am a stickler for rules, and I'm wary of
shit.
breaking the law. So
Oh, that may come in. That might be
yeah,
a problem.
Breaking the law every day.
Well, anytime we're doing something that could be considered criminal, all of my skill checks are at a minor disadvantage. All of
it's
them.
gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, yeah, sorry, Joe. I just
No, you're
realized
fine.
that I had like I said, I didn't spend a lot of time in the character portion of this, so I'm leaning on you guys a lot for this.
Sure, yeah.
So what does your background give you, Joe, flaw and bonus?
Well, the Drifter comes with Street Smarts for his bonus. That's the ability that I get, and I get to add a talent die to my dice pool when navigating. I'm not too keen on this particular flaw. We'll have to see how it works out, but the flaw is called Lone Wolf, and it says you fight your own way, and that usually means you fight alone, just how you like it. You cannot contribute to overwhelming an enemy. I'm not too keen on something that takes away from teamwork.
Okay. You wanna I think we could I'm sure we could make with I think there's quite a few flaws in the book. I think we could probably find another one that would work with Drifter. Because I don't think Drifter necessarily has to be, loner. I can picture it more of wanting to, be like nomadic and wanting to wander and see places, but that doesn't necessarily make you have to be,
Yeah, something
solo.
more like Wanderlust, where I don't want to stay put, would be more something apt. I don't want to take away from the group as part of my flaw, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We'll be able to workshop that a little bit and try to find, balance it out so we find a different flaw that fits it better and still makes sense flavor-wise and mechanically wise. And then what is your fear?
My fear is chinchillas.
Okay, you're gonna make me work for this, aren't you, Joe? You're gonna make me have to add some dang chinchilla somewhere. Okay, cool.
You could expand that out to rodents if that makes it easier to you.
You know what's funny? For a good 30 seconds there, I thought chinchillas was chihuahuas, and I thought those were I thought that was what they were. Are they okay? So they're rodents. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so I might have like, what about like a chupacabra? Chupacabra? I mean, that'd be probably anybody would be scared of chupacabra.
Yeah, if I ever saw one, I'd probably.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, Jeremy, Ernest, who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay,
Sure.
cool. What year is what's the name of your character first?
So my character's name is Corsair Jones.
Okay. And
Um,
what year is Corsair from?
Corsair is from 1956.
56. Okay. So we're getting about halfway to Gwen now. Okay. Maybe a little bit more relatable. What archetype did you go for Corsair?
So I went with the survivor archetype.
And one thing I know about survivors, I think they're kind of like catch-all, right? Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah. So survivors kind of catch all, but they have some deficiencies that other starting characters don't have. A survivor gets a +1 core skill in 2 separate core skills and talent die. But they also reduce a core skill, 2 core skills by 1. They all start at 3, and then like you add 1, but I reduce 2 of them by 2 because I'm pretty solid all around. So
Okay.
and so that works out for me.
So what background did you end up choosing for Corsair?
So in Shiver, it's all these things are kind of guidelines as far as mixing background archetype. I actually chose the experiment as as my background from the weird tree. I will say that Corsair is from Macomb County, Alabama. You can go look that up yourself. I'm not going to get into that too much, but
Okay, what does that background get you? It sounds
so the the background, what it gives you is you are more mentally strong when things are trying to mentally influence you. You gain +1 talent die. Also, when things are doing soul damage, you take half damage.
okay. Yeah, I was going to get into damage types a little bit when I talk a little bit more about the boring rule stuff. Okay, cool.
But the flaw there is when you interact with normal people, quote unquote, you actually lose a heart die for doing so because you're just so messed up from what's happened to you.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're you may not be the first choice to chat with people when you're doing an investigation or something on a mission. Cool.
Probably not. Probably not.
Awesome. And then fear.
Oh yeah, his fear actually is definitely afraid of dying alone.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The fears can be anything. It can be environmental, animal, people, actions, objects, or abstract. Like specifically dying alone. Okay. That might make me work a little bit to get that fear without you actually without your character actually dying or anything. Awesome. All right. And then that leads us to Jeremy. Jeremy, what is well, we already said your character name, but can you say it one more time just so?
Yeah, so I'll be playing Theodore Copper, and do you want me to just go, or are you gonna ask some
Yeah,
questions?
archetype first, please.
So Theodore is the scholar. Basically, like I said earlier, he's a big nerd. He's a little cowardly, pretty intelligent. But he is, as far as his background goes, Theodore is the scientist. And that is because he was born in Endicott, New York in 1891. And he, in adulthood, his great step uncle, Charles Flint, founded a little company called the International Business Machine, which is IBM. And he worked there through pure nepotism and the fact that he has a little bit of knowledge and a college degree. But after a while, working as a computer technician at IBM, not even a computer technician, just an electronics technician, he got drafted into World War I in 1917 when the U.S. entered that. Luckily, he only had to serve for a little over a year before the war ended. But that's kind of what brought a little bit of himself out, and he wasn't as much of a coward anymore. And he also witnessed some things that kind of led to, let's just say he witnessed something he shouldn't have, and that's why maybe he was considered for watch.
Okay. Yeah, and we're gonna get into that too. So what year were you actually plucked from, Jeremy?
So he joined watch in 1919, the year
1919.
after World War One ended.
Okay. See the years and history and stuff. So one thing we didn't mention that I guess by now is probably pretty obvious. This is set in like our universe and world. History wise. Obviously, it's going to be more in like the future, and then there's going to be time travel. But I am gonna do my best to do at least a little bit of research. Excuse me, everybody. At least a little bit of research for all these rescues. The plan is to do one rescue per episode. So we'll probably be starting around 8 o'clock Eastern every time. It'll probably be, a few hours in a single one. But yes, so it is our timeline, but in the future. So I will try to stick to the years as best we can. What is your fear? I don't know.
So his fear is going insane. He's intelligent enough to know messing with time is not a good idea, and he's afraid that not only will it eventually have consequences on the whole planet, but on his own mind.
Fantastic.
In other words, he's not quite sure about all this.
Okay, well, excuse me again. Okay, there's a couple more rule things I think I want to just make sure we get both for the players and everybody watching and listening. So I think, obviously, I think the checks are pretty evident where, if something's harder, you're going to need more of those success skill / talent die. If you fail a die, one thing that probably is my favorite mechanic of Shiver, and we actually named our show after, is called the Doom Clock. If somebody fails a roll, say Jeremy needs to make an intelligence check of 5 and somehow fails it with that big brain of his, any strange die he rolled, we add that many minutes to the Doom Clock. And the Doom Clock is this, it's this thing where everybody has it on their character sheets, and I'll also be keeping track of it myself every night, where it starts at 0, and every minute it ticks down to midnight, and at 15 minutes something bad happens. Something is going to trigger where it is going to really light a fire under these 4 during their rescue. At 30 minutes things are going to start snowballing, and it's going to get harder to do the rescue, and it's going to get more deadly. By 45 minutes things are going to be starting to look really bleak. And then if it ends up hitting midnight, the person they're trying to rescue will not just like outright die or anything, but it's going to get really dang hard and spooky and hard for them to actually make that rescue successfully. And when I'm saying rescue, it's the main gist of the story is that they're going to be having to go back in time and save key important historical figures in a short window. The Doom Clock is what we are named after, and it is probably my favorite mechanic of this whole system because I think it's going to add a lot of pressure to the player. So I'm really excited for that. Another thing, I'm just kind of scrolling down. I've got some things that are I don't think we really need to talk about, like combined skill checks. There's sometimes you might want to make like a smarts check and a strange check. We can get into that if it happens. Everybody has 16 HP. This is one thing I did want to talk about with you four. There are 2 different modes we can play this, and I want it to be completely up to you four. There is normal mode and there's nightmare mode, and I think if if anybody doesn't want nightmare mode, we'll probably not do nightmare mode. So it's not as spooky as it sounds or anything, but here I am trying to scroll up for it and find the actual thing. Here it is. So everybody's got 16 HP, and if in survivor mode, if all 16 points are gone, then you're wounded and unconscious. Like D&D. And something could happen. Somebody could bring you back. But if we're in nightmare mode, the difference is that if you're looking at your character sheet, excuse me. Oh no, it's not on the Shiver dice roller, but on your character sheet there are 4 different sections. There is weakened for 4 points, limping for 4 points, trauma for 4 points, and then dead for 4 points. If it gets filled up, if the box gets filled up with all 4, that thing happens. So weakened, if you take 4 wounds, you pick a core skill that you lose a point. Next one, if you get 4 more, your speed drops to slow. Next one, trauma, if you lose 4 more, you start to lose motor skills, and you either select a core skill in which you have a talent point and reduce that talent point by 1, or choose an ability which you can no longer use, or when you hit 16, you're dead, and there's like no coming back from that. I don't mind one way or the other, but this is a choice that is given in Shiver, so I wanted to make sure that you all pick which one you would like. Sorry if I just blasted anybody's ears. I realized I didn't have any tabletop audio on, and then I played it way too loud. So if there's any thoughts on that, survivor mode is probably, I don't necessarily want to see anybody die, so survivor mode gives a little bit more chance of that not happening, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if we do die, and since we're not dead, like erased from existence, then we get to have a game of going back and grabbing somebody from somewhere else.
Yeah. So
that thinking.
Yeah. So the thing is, and please chat, let me know if that's too loud. It might be too loud still. So the thing is, the reason that your group was even brought together, and I like that we get to just kind of sprinkle in story stuff as we go. It wouldn't be a problem if, say, you needed to save Benjamin Franklin from he's the electricity guy, right? I think so, or at least, well, no, I think he was
Other things.
I think he was like kind of an asshole though, right? And like ripped off a bunch of people. Either way, either way, say if Benjamin Franklin died and like somehow electricity never did get invented, if he died, it wouldn't be a problem for you guys to go back in time and save him. And just make him not die. If somebody else was using time travel and like messing with timelines, it wouldn't be a problem to go save it. However, this creature, Ernest said, "I'm not saving Ben Franklin. We don't have to save Ben Franklin." However, if this thing, this group, these people, these creatures, whatever this is that are killing these people, it's completely wiping them from history. So if something did kill Ben Franklin, one of these things that you guys are tracking, it wouldn't be like you guys could go back just the day before, like warn him like, hey, this thing's gonna come and kill you tomorrow. It's completely wiped from everything and everyone, and even the business, the watch. You guys wouldn't even know about this person anymore. It's completely gone. And it's different from just having them die and you guys be able to save them. So that's another thing. It's kind of an overarching mystery of what this thing even is that is wiping them from existence. But if say you four went back in time and Jeremy, wow, thanks Jeremy for that extra life donation. If Jeremy did get killed by say like a crossbow, you guys may be able to tweak that one way or another and adjust that. I don't know. We'll have to see exactly how fucking convoluted we can get with this show, which I'm really excited about. But all that aside, yeah, I don't mind either way if we do the survivor mode or if we do the nightmare mode. I kind of do like the effects of nightmare mode, but maybe just not dying instantly. Like I kind of like that, you know, if you get 4 damage to you, you pick a point to lower a core skill. If you get 8, you drop to slow. I think those are kind of fun, but I don't really like that you're just like dead at 16.
Yeah, yeah. You know, let's bleed out and say things and then die horribly.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, you can, I mean, especially like I think Jeremy's character will be really good at it. There's, you know, you can make smarts rolls to like try to stabilize somebody and bring them back. So I mean, there's ways to do it. So how about that? How
Yeah,
about
did you want me
do-
to tell you what my character, like what his abilities do, the flaws and stuff?
Yeah, let's do that.
Just because what you said made me think of what his ability lets him do. So he does actually get to do things with smarts rolls. He gets to re-roll them if he fails outside of combat, but only once.
Outside of what?
So if
does it
I'm
say
making-
once per...
No, it just says. Let me pull it up.
because sometimes
It basically just. Sorry.
I'm just saying because sometimes it will say like, and I just found out about this reading a little bit today. Sometimes it'll say like once per doom quarter, and it's like once per 15 minutes of the doom clock.
Oh, okay. So mine says thinking outside the box. If you fail a non. Oh, that's so much better, I guess. If I fail a non-smarts check outside of combat, I can re-roll. Oh, I can re-roll any smarts symbol rolled to try and succeed.
Okay. Okay, so if you're going for anything other than a smarts check.
Right, but my flaw is called calculating, which I'm always just calculating things. So I'm not really paying enough attention, and I'm not super good at social interactions anyway. So when I'm trying to like read somebody or see if they're lying, or like guess their emotional state, I'm not very good at that. And so it says that I lose a heart die anytime I'm trying to do that.
We are really relying on you, Danny, to like
Yeah, Danny's gonna
to say words.
I will say words.
Cool. So is everyone cool with that if we do the status effects, but when you hit 16 you don't die, you'll drop unconscious instead?
Yeah, that sounds good to
Yep.
me.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, a couple more high level things. Combat's pretty easy. I may do a mix of these things. The core rules is that everybody's either fast, medium, or slow. If for some reason if you all like set a trap for somebody, you would be in the fast initiative. If it's just you and these people that you're fighting, just come to a head at the same time, everybody would be in the middle initiative. If one of you, if like somebody's like trying to carry somebody else, or there's some kind of detriment, you guys would be in slow. So if everybody is in the same initiative, it's kind of like Monster of the Week, where it's just everybody kind of can go whenever they want, whenever they've got something ready in that window. Sometimes, if it makes sense narratively, I may do what's called free flow, where there's not fast, middle, and slow. It's just like you all are acting, and whenever it makes sense for an enemy or a monster to act, that enemy or that monster will act, and then you all can act. And all that means is for a combat roll, you all get a move. Everybody's movement is normal, which is like 30-ish feet. We won't get too bogged down in like distances really, unless it gets like really crazy. And then you get an attack and an interact. An attack is like using a weapon to actually do an attack, and an interact is really anything you guys can think of. We can get really. I'll probably be really loose with what you guys want to do for an interact, and if you don't take an attack, you can take 2 interacts instead. So yeah, that's really as simple as combat gets. If you wanted, if Gwen wants to hit a zombie with a baseball bat, Gwen would roll. Every weapon has a different die associated with it. So like a baseball bat would be grit. So Gwen would have to roll a grit roll, and if it beats the creature's challenge rating, then that would be a success, and you would just do the amount of damage that a baseball bat does. Now there's stuff for every stat. So, and I was thinking like, what can you do for like a heart? But there's like a book of banishment that has a heart stat for it, and you can like do soul damage. I think it does. So like. We're gonna get kind of wild with some weapons and stuff with this and armor, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, so the combat's super straightforward in here. The cool thing I really like is critical hits. If you roll more than 2 above what they need, say you're trying to fight like a zombie that has like a CR1 and you roll 3 successes. What that means is that your damage is doubled, and whatever kind of weapon you're using will get you a different advantage. So if you use a grit weapon like a baseball bat, you knock them down prone. Wit, you get a second attack. Smart, you make them bleed for 2 damage. Heart, you are steeled, which makes your challenge rating go up 1. Luck, you get to roll your luck pool, and each luck is an extra damage. And strange, the enemy is terrified of you. And there's like different kinds of attacks, like in D&D, where there's like fire, cold, soul. I don't know exactly how much we're gonna get into that as we go, but we will see. And then I think the last thing before we finish up with some really good character building. Because I've only got one last core mechanic I want to talk about is the fear status. So if anything truly spooky happens that I think makes sense for you four to make a fear check, you will make a fear roll. And unfortunately, I don't have it pulled up. I believe that's always going to be a strange roll. And I think it will be a different check based on how spooky it is. If you fail, your fear track will go up. So there is stable, which is just fine. Your heart might be, pounding a little hard, but like your palms aren't sweating. You're ready to face whatever this is. If it goes up to afraid, you temporarily lose 1 core skill point from every core skill. So, smarts, grit. Yeah, that's hard. That's bad. That's if you're afraid. If you get terrified, you are overcome with a powerful fear. And this occurs when you fail a fear check while you're already afraid. And at this point, you're just like ready. You're ready to get out of there. You temporarily lose 2 core skill points from every core skill to a minimum of 1 until it is broken. And you can use an interact to bust out of fear. You make a strange roll. Anytime you want to use an interact, or if like the threat goes away and you're say you're afraid of a giant spider, you guys are fighting a giant spider, and you either kill a giant spider or for some reason it walks away, after a little bit of time you guys would chill out and not be terrified of it anymore. And yeah, I think I didn't want to get too like bogged down in the weeds for the mechanics, but I think there was enough high level stuff that we needed the listeners and you four to know about before we get started. But now I'm ready for the fun stuff, the character stuff. let's see. We're about an hour in. How about we do one round of questions for everybody, and then we'll take a short break and come back. Is that cool for everybody? Okay.
Sure.
I don't want to keep anybody too long between breaks. Yes, tier 1. Yeah, you should all be like level 1. I don't know exactly how the leveling works in this system.
Oh yeah, I can talk
Cool.
about that actually.
I would love that.
Yeah, so in Shiver, the director, who is the storyteller, game master, they're called the director, which I think is really cool because of the cinematic sort of style that Shiver has. So as our director, Adam would decide what our starting level is. The maximum level in Shiver is 15, and the starting level is 1. So when you make your character, you start off with your archetype and your background. And you start off with the starting ability at level 1 or tier 1 for your character. So let's say I'm a survivor. My archetype ability is Deus Ex Machina. Once per Doom Clock quarter, I can re-roll any talent die because I can just get out of shit because that's how it is. But I have a choice of a few things here with my talent points. I can go into the field surgeon path, or the rally, or the chosen/leader path, or the kind of cockroach. It's called cockroach. Like, you're just really good at getting away and living, right? And so as level 1 characters, we have 1 talent point, unless the director says otherwise. Then I'm going to choose one of these 3 things in my skill tree, and there are places where your skill tree actually will branch over, and you can diversify your skills across skill trees. But as of right now, so I actually chose the field surgeon route, which gives me access to being able to heal people and myself, potentially, with a smarts roll. And that's why I chose for my tier 1 power. Or actually, it's a tier 2 power, because your tier 1 power is your archetype power. So my first ability point was tier 2. So
how about we do everybody tier 2, so that we can at least get everybody to choose, one of those 3 things, and at least like get started on their path that they're going to be doing. That way, we're going to get into what. Spoiler alert, the first question I'm going to ask everybody is why they either think or know that the Watch chose them and plucked them from time to join. And I think it would make sense if you had at least, a little bit of something, like a little bit more than the average person has, stat-wise. So some of you, you probably may not have yet picked your tier 2 ability, but yeah, let's start at tier 2 instead of tier 1. I like that. So who's ready to answer that? Why do you think the Watch chose your character and took you from the current year into the future to help out?
Sure. So I can talk about my character. Corsair is from 1956. He's from Macomb County, Alabama, where a terrible piece of history came from that was called the Tuskegee experiment. You can look it up. Bad piece of history, where a lot of African Americans were experimented on for a number of reasons. But anyway, the Corsair came out of that with some weird abilities. So Corsair is a survivor. There's an ability you can pick at the very end. At the very end of the character creation section, there are 6 abilities you can pick from that you kind of just have access to. Mm-hmm. And it says pick one of these 6. So I chose the luck skill, where if I were to fall down and dying, if I rolled 3 luck, I would start to regenerate my wounds and regain consciousness potentially. But he's still terribly afraid of dying because last place before being a member of the Watch was potentially dying in this horrible facility kind of like, scenario.
Okay. And
So-
then
Yeah.
and then I think then so the next question would be why did you choose to go with them? Because everybody has the choice, right? Everybody has a choice. You could say like, no, I'm good here in the 50s, 30s, 2018, however far back you are. Why did Corsair choose to join the Watch?
Well, I think it's easy to say that, like, anything is better than this awful place, but I think also the idea of being able to maybe change things, maybe Corsair might, have some mild sympathies for whoever's making these changes to time. Who knows? But he definitely wants to see how it's done. What's the secret of the sauce?
Yeah, that me personally, my inquisitiveness would get the better of me, and I'd want to at least see what's going on. Okay, who else would like to go next? So these are two questions I need to ask everybody. Why do you think you were chosen, and then why did you join? After that, we're just gonna get kind of fun with it and start to ask some more lighthearted character questions and relationship questions about people that you've known only 1 month.
I'll go.
All right, let's do it, Jeremy. Why do you either think or know? They may have told you. Benjamin may have told you when he came back to collect you and recruit you. Why do you think that they chose you for the Watch?
Well, while I was serving I was in the military. I was in the Navy, or I was drafted into the Navy for World War I. And like I said, I only spent really a little bit more than just over a year fighting in that war, like all Americans, because they were only there right at the end. But at the Battle of Argonne, which I was involved with, I just witnessed something that what I saw was something far beyond my own time period, and they noticed that I saw it. And these people dressed in very strange clothing, after seeing that I saw what happened, I was approached by other people in similarly strange clothing at some point in the near future, in the next couple of days. And that's when basically I was offered the choice of having all my memories wiped or joining the Watch. And they said they couldn't really guarantee how much of my memory I would lose. And since part of my fear is going insane, a lot of that is he realizes it's not his brawn that makes him successful, it's his mind. And losing that is his biggest fear. So he was certainly intrigued and interested. And, once he realized it involved time travel, he, of course, wanted to be part of the Watch, but at the same time, the sophist's choice, I believe is the term, the sophist's choice, rather, they gave him was kind of like, you have to do one or the other. And so he joined the Watch.
Awesome.
But yeah, he doesn't know what they were doing there at World War One. They don't know. He doesn't know what they were attempting to do to alter that battle, perhaps, or maybe they were just in that location during the time. But that is when he first encountered them.
Cool. All right, Danny or Joe? Nose goes?
I'll go.
Okay, cool.
So Gwyn is an heiress. She was born into money, has a lot of money, and has a lot of time on her hands because she doesn't actually have to work for any particular reason. And so she got herself some hobbies, and started actually using social media. She's got a blog, a website. She is all about Instagram. She is an influencer. But her particular hobby is actually learning about the social customs of past cultures. She's super interested in, like, when did the handshake develop? Why do we do handshakes instead of, say, bowing to each other? Where did the curtsy come from? Why did we stop doing it? Was it always women who did it? So she's spent most of her adult life digging into those sort of weird little questions because they were interesting, and she doesn't need to earn a living doing anything else, so she might as well. And it's because she knows all of these weird little social things that she was recruited, because that could come in handy in all sorts of different time frames, knowing, how to behave, how to be a lady, because, even though she's a modern woman with the family money, she is basically like the ladies throughout history, where you just have to look pretty and follow the rules.
I keep continuously forgetting you're from 2018.
2018.
You started mentioning blogging and stuff. I was like, awesome. All right, yeah. So I think that, why did you decide to go with them? I think your answer kind of.
Mostly, it just sounded like fun. It would be great to see these things in person.
Yeah. I think your answer kind of built on towards that. Joe, why do you think you were recruited, and why did you join?
Happy has no idea why he's here or what he's doing, but it probably has something to do with his good fortune. Because on October 24th, 1929, he sold off all his stocks and made billions of dollars right before the stock market crashed. He didn't take any of it with him, but I'm sure he'll get it back.
Do you have a lucky dime?
Maybe.
All right.
Talking me? Are we talking me or are we talking Pappy?
Talking about Pappy. Does he have Scrooge McDuck's lucky dime?
Okay, cool. So it's pretty much luck, and then I think just your drifter nature just decided to.
Yeah, just the chance to see other places and then other times. Like, I could see Paris in 5 different time zones. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, I think so. I got a couple more character questions, but I also think that it's probably a good time to just take a real short break. I'll play the prologue again on the or Be Right Back screen, and then we'll be right back, and we will finish some character and relationship questions now, because you four have now hung out for about a month at this headquarters that we also need to decide exactly what this headquarters is, where it is, the kind of logistics of it. We're going to build that together, and then we will leave on a hook for the very first time rescue and what time period we'll be going to. And I'm really excited for that. So everybody, we'll be right back in however long everybody needs, but it won't be long. Be right back, everybody.
The year is, well, that's complicated. It's 2021, and it's 2121, and 1,000,021 BC. You see, ever since time travel plummeted into the world, things have been one disaster rebounding off of the previous disaster's attempted cleanup. After getting most of the world-ending catastrophes cleaned up, we were able to stamp out any means of time travel from the world and stop it from ever cropping up in the first place. At least, that's what we tell everyone. Obviously, we couldn't risk completely removing the creation of time travel. What if we had loose threads to tie up that we missed? What if dire means relied on time travel as the sole savior for the planet, and perhaps even the universe? Not likely. Obviously, we had to keep the option open to our group for our own gain and to stomp down any form of competition as up-and-coming inventors tried their hand at cracking the code. At least, that was the goal at first. Years went by, and we started to notice that there were more loose ends than we could ever imagine. Somewhere down the line, something terrible happened. And it happened every... when? That's where you come in, the team that doesn't exist, the team that rights the wrongs of our predecessors. The Watch. That's the Worldwide Association of Time Conservation and Harmony, of course. Someone, or something, is killing off very valuable people throughout time. This wouldn't be a problem for a team like us, usually, as we can just go back in time and save them from ever dying. But whatever is killing these people is doing much more. It's erasing them from existence. There is no going back to the day prior to their death, as they didn't exist before or after their death when they die to this enemy. The only way to save them is to stop them from dying in the first place. And with such a small window to work with, it will be no easy task saving them all. So, no pressure. Now, get back there and try not to end the world while trying to save it.
Welcome back, everybody. Real quick before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. This episode is sponsored by Abide Asteria. If you have not yet, go and check out Abide Asteria. It is a completely free, 100% free tabletop RPG that's brand new. It is playable, but not, it's. I think they're calling it beta. I think it's the term that they're using for it, but it's 100% playable. You can go to abideasteria.com. That's right below me. It is a ttrpg system that uses just a standard deck of playing cards, 52 standard deck of 52 playing cards. So no matter what, you've got everything you need as long as you've got that and an internet connection, because it is all web-based. You don't even need to make an account. You can go right to that website and log in, and it's kind of like sci-fi meets fantasy. There's space dragons and all kinds of fun things. And next weekend, Neo, one of the creators, will be running a one-shot for it during our Extra Life 24-hour charity event Saturday morning, pretty early in the morning, so you'll have to wake up early to come and catch it, but it will be worth it. Speaking of that charity event, I also want to really talk about that real quick. It is going to be our second annual 24-hour Extra Life charity event, where last year was super tiring for me, and at the time we weren't even in a network. It was just a one-shot on halfway to heroes, and then Roll for Weird wasn't even a thing yet, but it was our second time playing Monster of the Week with that same group. And then Roll for Weird was born right after that weekend. So this time it was a lot easier for me to slot up. We've got Roll for Weird, we have got NBA, we have got the original Shitty Cowboys, where Sean and Gerundo are going to be playing Red Dead Redemption in the middle like 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Sean will be very tired and loopy and playing Red Dead Redemption. We have got Jeremy playing Mage Tower in a one-shot that he wrote himself. We've got a live lore and pour to cap the evening off. So I don't know how. I'm probably going to be crashing at like 8 o'clock that Saturday, because that lore and pour is the 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock window. But we need your donations for Cincinnati Children's Hospital. You can donate now at bit.ly/goose2021. And we have over 30 giveaway prizes right now. Almost too many. It's to the point where I'm like, I hope we get 30 people to donate, because if not, like, we're gonna have to, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. We've got so many giveaway prizes that I don't want to say like you're guaranteed to win a prize for donating, but you've got very good odds of winning something. And they're awesome prizes. Like, we've got 3 sourcebook collections from D&D Beyond. We have got a $100 gift card to Dwarven Forge. We've got 10 $25 gift cards to Dyson V. We've got 4 very cool dice vaults from Zoltar's Bazaars. We've like too many things for me to just rattle off. You can win art, like D&D art commissions. You can win Jeremy's adventure collections. There's Deem's Guild gift cards. Just seriously, it is. If you can donate more than $1, definitely do that. If you can donate at least $1, do that, because we need at least 30 people to donate to give away all these prizes for. And with all of that out of the way, during the break, we did talk a little bit about the Tier 2 abilities of everybody, and I've realized we didn't get everybody's Tier 2 abilities. So Danny and I were talking first, so I think, Danny, you want to talk about your Tier 2 ability that you're going to be choosing?
Sure. The Socialite has 3 different pathways, and I have chosen the Companion path, because my company is so wonderful that I can have a permanent companion who is at my command in the form of a sidekick. And this person will defend me and do my dirty work for me.
And we're going to workshop it a little bit, just to make sure, like, we don't have all the logistics, like who's going to... Obviously, Danny gets to pick all the actions of it, who voices it. I may, just so that I can have a, somebody with you guys on missions, that could be fun to have a NPC that you control all of its like mechanical stuff, and I just get to be the voice, the speakerphone for it. So that'd be fun. Joe, did you pick your tier 2 ability?
I am gonna go with Clock It Back, which is the accumulator path.
Okay.
Clock It Back says you have the ability to use your luck to prevent disaster. You only have to use 1 luck point to turn back the doom clock by 1 minute. You can also use banked luck points to do this.
Oh my goodness, that is
Ooh.
very big. That's a very big a boon for you all. Cool. Because one thing that I had noted in my notes, but again, I didn't want to get too low level of talking about mechanics. But if you roll, say somebody rolls a skill check and they get 2 luck points. Well, first, anybody besides the fool can only bank 1 luck at a time. But if they don't want to bank luck, or if they've already got luck banked, they may choose to instead use those 2 luck points to either A, count as 1 success for whatever. So if you're making a grit check and you roll 2 luck points, you can cash in those 2 luck points for 1 success. Or you can use those 2 luck points to roll back the doom clock by 1 minute. However, it sounds like Joe can use 1 luck to roll back 1 minute, which is going to be a big deal. Cool. Jeremy, what'd you get?
So what I chose was I'm trying to see what the path was. Oh, so I chose the academic path. And the ability that granted me, it's called The Game is Afoot. And I get to add 1 talent die when making smarts checks to investigate an area or situation. So I can basically like investigate a scenario. So I can add an extra talent die anytime I'm doing that, which is pretty cool. And I suppose the reason I chose that is, he's only really an engineer at IBM because of nepotism, because he was hired by a family member. I mean, he has the degree and stuff, and he is skilled enough, but really he's just there to solve, like, he just wants to be on the edge of technology. He wants to like solve new problems. He's curious. He wants to be on the leading edge of things. So I feel like that's his real passion, and that's also why watch interests him, like time travel. That's crazy.
Yeah, and getting an additional talent die is really good because your odds of getting successes on there are just greatly increase above than just the regular die, because it's a D8, and there's even some like double successes on talent die, so that's a big deal.
And then at his base level, as a scholar, just at base level, he also got medic, so I can heal wounds, and I roll smarts for that, and it's only a CR1 check. I can heal 2 wounds, and then every additional smart symbol I roll is another wound healed.
Oh shoot!
So it starts at 2 and goes up by 1 for every additional. And then I could have went the medic path, but I didn't. That was just my base level. Like, I know some first aid from being involved in the military, and that's about it. So I can help, but I'm not the healer, but I can heal. I'm the bard, basically.
That's really good to have, because I wasn't sure exactly how we were going to deal with people getting beat up and bit and mauled. And then Ernest, can you say yours one more time? Your tier 2 skill.
Yeah. Well, my tier 2 skill is actually the tier 2 because you pick it's your tier +1, because like you get that first ability. Then we're actually picking tier 3 abilities, if that wasn't clear to people. This tier because you're.
Let me look at that. Yeah, did everybody get a So yeah, I was thinking everybody was getting. So like, I'm looking at these trees. I didn't look at them a lot. But I was thinking everybody would just get not just the tier 1, like the base thing everybody gets, but just the first, that tier 2 where it splits.
Yeah. So yeah, what's let me double check that just to make sure that I'm correct.
I'm trying to find the here. So Survivor's a little bit different. Survivor's Survivor actually has like 4 different things, but like looking at the tier 2 thing, so for yours, like the Play Dead, Rally, or Field Surgeon for Survivor tree.
Yeah, so yeah, the Survivor's tree. So my power is Field Surgeon. A basic suite of medical training has equipped you to deal with most minor injuries. If you have 8 wounds or more, you can attempt to set yourself up, roll a smarts roll with a CR of 1. If successful, you heal 1 wound. For every additional smarts roll you roll beyond this, heal another wound.
So that's nice. So we have 2 people that can at least heal somewhat of wounds. That Survivor tree. It's the Survivor and the Strange tree both have like these big. It looks like they branch quite a bit more, and they've got 4 instead of 2. But okay, cool. I really like how they do the skill trees in this because I don't know. I've always liked skilled trees, like in video games and stuff. So that's that's one thing about this game that I'm really enjoying. Okay, so with all that, I'm gonna just start to kind of hit fire some questions at you 4. Won't be any kind of repeating questions. These questions will be as if we have spent 1 month at the base, which we will, as a group, all build the base together here right after these questions. But let's see. We'll start with Joe. Let's see. What's a good one for Pappy? Let's see here. Where was your character born, Pappy? Because I know you moved around a lot.
Pappy did move around a lot, but he was born in New York, New York.
Okay, born in New York, New York. Jeremy, what did your character leave behind?
Well, he left behind a family. He's married.
You're married.
Not a family. He didn't have children. He didn't have children, but he left behind a wife.
You were married, and you still just, I guess, the lure of
I don't know that
travel.
he probably figured, well, I can time travel back. I got all the time in the world.
Okay. Well, I'm really glad I asked you that one. Danny, this one's pretty light. What is your character's favorite food?
Oh, there's this great little Thai place. It's the food is just gorgeous. I've got pictures of it all over my Instagram. So I think I'm gonna have to go with Thai food. Yeah.
Thai food. Ernest, what is your first memory of Pappy?
I think that I was trying to get something out of this crazy vending machine on at the watch, like the watch break room, and it got stuck. And Pappy just walked by and like 5 donuts fell out. And
my mic just likes.
Yeah, he just five packs of Hostess donuts, whoever, just fell out. And Pappy's like, "Oh, great!" and just walks by like it's no thing.
Like it happens all the time for Pappy.
Like it's just like a daily thing. Like oh yeah, here's a pack of donuts that just fell out the machine, and he keeps on walking, and the chips the chips I actually wanted didn't fall out, So I'm like, damn, Pappy, damn, like all this, and you couldn't have just like got me my chips.
Well, it's probably because it was Pappy's favorite food, so it fell because of Pappy's luck.
Yeah, you just got a bunch of cupcakes and donuts though, so that's great.
Let's see here. Jeremy, what do you and Gwen have a mutual weird love of? You being from not even the 30s, you being from the teens, right? You were like 1919 is when you were plugged from?
1919.
So yeah, you being from 1919, and then Gwen being from 2018. What's something that you both have discovered that you have the same weird love of?
France was the only nice thing that I got out of World War One, was being able to go to France.
So you and of course Gwen's well traveled and definitely been to France. Tanya said Betty White.
That's a close second.
That's a close second. Hard second. Joe.
Yes.
Let's see. What do you admire about Corsair, but you would never tell them? You're just not that close. You just would never tell them.
We've only known each other for a month.
Yeah.
Their love of sugar. It's totally wrong, but because of that first memory and he was eating those donuts, that is something that he is convinced that Corsair loves sugar just like Pappy. And
Clearly. Yep. Clearly.
So what I'm getting is Pappy really likes like Hostess donuts and sugar, and that's why with your abundance of luck, you walk by the vending machine, a bunch of them fall out, and because Corsair collected those donuts, you assumed that he likes sugar just as much as you do. Okay, cool. Let's see, Corsair. What is a great kindness that Gwen did for you that Gwen doesn't even know about? Gwen doesn't even remember, but you'll never forget in this 1 month.
I think Gwen Gwen showed me what became of a lot of the poets of the Harlem Renaissance and like other things. Like, oh, look, you can just look up poets on like the internet and see what they're doing and listen to recordings. Like, what? Because because even though I chose this new life, all those people are gone. All those people who influence a movement are gone now, and they've made their mark on history. And Gwen's like, here, you can just look them up. They're right here. Here you go.
Yeah, and I'm guessing in 2101, the Wi-Fi signal is real good.
We hope.
Speaking of being in 2021, let's get into actually building up this base. I've been referring to it in my notes and stuff as HQ or the headquarters or the base. But like I said, I want this to be kind of collaborative. So where is there anywhere? I know in our Discord chat I mentioned a couple places that I kind of had in mind, but is there anywhere that you four think that would be a really cool? Because you got to remember, everybody that listened to the prologue, time travel used to be a thing. It was nearly public, like accessible, but you had to be pretty wealthy, so not super. It wasn't super affordable. But then things started to really just go haywire. And governments and corporations kind of teamed up because they realized that, if this wasn't stopped soon, the universe was at stake at that point because people were kind of doing whatever they wanted. So this corporation went back in time and supposedly stopped. Through a series of events, they were able to go back and completely wipe out, from point A to B to C to D, the chain of command that kind of led up to time travel being invented. They said, of course, this corporation, this unnamed entity other than you all being members of the Watch, kept their own means of time travel for, kind of worst case scenarios and to, be able to use it for themselves. So it's gotta be a secret location because they don't want anybody else to find out that they do still have access to time travel. So I threw out a couple ideas, like either like in the ocean, satellite, Mars, Venus, unless you guys got like a different kind of place you think would be really cool to have a base. But this is going to be kind of like your guys' hangout / headquarters for in between missions. So I think it makes sense that you guys also have some input on this.
Wherever it is, it has to have a really close location to Thai restaurants, right?
Well, we're gonna get into that the very next talking point, but this is a very well accommodated base. So we will also be building out the base here in a minute. So step 1, location. Step 2, whatever we want in the base. So we could be in the middle of the ocean, but still have Thai food. We could be on a satellite and still have Thai food. Wherever you guys.
But it's 2100.
2101.
2101. And it shouldn't exist. In our modern time period, it's not allowed to exist.
It is not allowed. Time travel is completely banned. You're not allowed to do.
By who though?
By all the world governments and everyone.
Okay, so it's not like we're the ones who banned it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it was corporations and governments worked together because they both thought it was in their best interest to ban time travel. And
well, we told them it was in their best interest.
Yeah, this is a corporation that has this, though, not a government. So
we clearly were part of the banning efforts and said, hey, yeah, but like,
it's bad, but for us, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then you four are there as like the fixers for this new anomaly that has recently started happening. Because apparently something else also has access to time travel. Because, people that were existing all of a sudden aren't anymore. So that's where you four come in.
So, of course, our base is located in the giant metropolis that is the Amazon, where once upon a time there was a great forest.
We could do that.
Oh.
Amazon metropolis forest is completely gone.
It only took 80 years, and now it's gone, and they got the city they wanted, though. There is a highway there now.
There's a highway, and so is it a big... Like a big sprawling metropolis that takes up.
Well, I don't know how futuristic is this place. Is it like a dome? Is it like everyone moved there because pollution's so bad? That's where the lungs of the world were. But then we destroyed that too.
I'm thinking some kind of crazy sprawling Gernsbackian, like, metropolis. Like to just, everything is pneumatic tubes and shining steel, and we're just somewhere nestled in the middle of all of that.
So kind of hidden in plain sight, not necessarily like it's bland corporation, and it's kind of blends in with the buildings on either side of it, where nobody really knows what happens in this place. It could be Jeremy, it could be IBM.
It's just IBM.
It could just be IBM, and inside everybody thinks they make computer parts. But if they went down to the sub levels, they would find this the watch headquarters and the actual. I like that. I was thinking that we really needed to like hide away this time travel machine, but just kind of hiding it in plain sight instead. I like that. We can do that. Okay. Next, one of the last things I wanted to do for the night is that
I'm really glad you secured that IBM sponsor, though. That was cool. That was good.
Yeah, that's good. They're gonna pay us the big bucks. Well, I don't know, because they may end up being kind of the bad guys. I mean, they hid away time travel from everybody, so
The enemy is IBM.
they're already kind of jerks.
That's just who I worked for. It's not like they made time travel.
Yeah, that's
Or did
true.
they? Was
Maybe.
it Charles Flint, my step uncle?
It may be fucking Flint.
It was your
Flint.
wife. Your wife made time travel.
Oh, after you were plucked from existence, she tried to invent time travel to say. Oh, dude.
Because they thought I was kidnapped.
Now we're
They
getting.
thought
into
you were-
now
Yeah,
we're
They thought I was
getting
kidnapped
into
through
layers.
time.
So she figured out time travel, and and then she got zapped for figuring out time travel by the corporations that you work for.
Oh, jeez, we're getting. I knew that this show would get convoluted. I didn't know we would get convoluted in session 0. Well, I mentioned the only employee of IBM. We're going with it. I'm sticking with it now. The corporation is called IBM. The only employee you all have ever met in IBM is Benjamin. He was the one that came back in time, recruited you, brought you back, showed you to
Do I
this.
know that it's IBM? Am I like, wait, so that
Yeah, let's-
place I
you want
worked
to do that?
2 years ago turned into the corpos, basically. Like they are the big bad
I kind of,
corporation.
I think that
IBM.
could be fun. I think we could.
Yeah.
I think that could be fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
none of us own giant companies. We don't need IBM.
So yeah, Benjamin's the one that came back in time, recruited you all, and brought you all to this very lavish and well accommodated this headquarters inside of the Amazon metropolis, and it's like I said, well furnished. There are gyms, pools, televisions, indoor gardens. We can build up this place as much as we want. And knowing that, where would you all be hanging out on just a regular day in this base, waiting for your call to action? Anybody want to start that?
Do
Go ahead.
do we have a costuming department?
There is.
I feel like I'd probably spend a lot of time there trying on outfits from different time periods and taking selfies.
Okay. Yeah, so you're in this room that has rows and rows of apparel, and it's sorted by century. By century. So you can kind of go by it, and this room is massive. So it goes all the way back down to, the BC eras. It's actually one of the largest, probably the largest room in the entire headquarters, because they really had to accommodate a wide variety of apparel so that you all can fit in without, causing any kind of butterfly effects if somebody saw you all wearing like denim jeans in, the 100 BC. So, you and... Oh, we don't really have your NPC yet, do we?
His name's going to be Caleb.
Okay, you and Caleb. Oh, it's close to Clancy. You, you and Clancy, or geez, no, not Clancy. You and Caleb are looking through what time period of clothes are we looking through right now?
I'm thinking probably Regency, because I just finished reading through, some Jane Austen type novels. It just felt appropriate. I've got my book with me. I can hold up the book while wearing something time appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking through these clothes, and then it's pretty well lit in here, so that you can really see everything, and you notice that the lights start to flicker a little bit, and then the overhead fluorescent lights go out, and kind of the backup emergency lights kick on. Where's everybody else at?
I probably spent a lot of time using the internet to like kind of just catch up on things, and it's like, and I start banging the computer like, oh, just a little elbow grease will fix it.
Yeah, so you're in the it's kind of like a library. It's half book library, half just a bank of computers where anybody can come and research whatever they need to. Yeah, you're googling around trying to get caught up on the last 100 years about.
Yeah, I'm peck typing because I'm not quite used to a keyboard. Like a typewriter was one thing, but this thing is weird. So I'm still kind of peck typing because I'm kind of afraid of it.
Yeah, and while you're, I guess Google would probably still be a thing. While you're Googling,
the goggle.
all of a sudden you see this like 8-bit digital T-Rex pop up, and it says internet cannot be found. And we'll go to Jeremy or Joe.
Well, Theodore is, he being an electronics specialist, essentially, he's like, I'm not using those archaic computers. He's in the virtual chamber where everything is like AR but with no screens. It's like you're wearing Google glasses all the time, and he's just moving these things around. He's got like a web, like he's like trying to solve a mystery. He's got like all these different points that he has like just splayed out, floating in this room. He's like doing research. He's like trying to figure out some stuff. Him, if it's only been like a month that he's been part of this corporation, I think he's like still kind of obsessed with the hell that was World War I, and maybe like, how could I stop that from happening without ruining everything? And that's what he does in his free time. And I guess he would experience the same thing. Like when the internet goes down, all that really kind of stops working.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, all the screens, once they lose that internet connectivity, all the screens just also, because you're using it's kind of like a heads-up display, but that you're able to interact with, all the screens just like blink out of existence, and you're just like left with waving your hands in the air for a moment before you realize that all the screens have died.
I go, did somebody kick over the modem? Yell that.
We'll go to Pappy. What's Pappy doing?
Pappy spends a lot of time playing shuffleboard, visiting the old candy stores. He likes to watch the taffy puller, visiting the vending machines and the different things like that. But I think he spends most of his free time like in a casino type area.
Okay. Yeah.
Slots or poker or anything.
Jeez.
Like
okay, Pappy.
any game of chance.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're probably pretty good, Pappy, at games of chance, aren't you?
I wouldn't say I'm good. Perhaps just a bit lucky.
A bit lucky. Yeah. So. Yeah. So this place, they really try to. They really want to make sure that with you four having to hop through time, and they know that you're going to be facing life or death situations a lot, they really want to make sure that they keep your not only your physical health up, but also your mental health. So they really wanted to curate this entire base to fit all of your guys' needs and be able to really get your decompressing time down. So Pappy, you've got this pretty well made casino, and it's got a lot of automatrons, and just for the craps table, there's not a robot or anything like that, but it's just a screen with an AI that's able to let you know if you won or what you won, and it's got these animatronic rotary arms that can pull out and pull in the chips if they win, and as you're right as you're playing some craps and you roll, and it's the come out roll, and you can just tell, you see the dice rolling back and hitting 7, and right when that screen starts to display the winners, it goes dark, and then blue lights around the room light up, and it's for all 4 of you. Blue lights are going around the room, and on day 1, you learned that Benjamin taught you that, or told you all that. The blue lights mean meet in the command room. You've got a mission. So, making your way all to the command room, you see standing there in the center with this table, these maps, actual physical handheld maps all scrawled around the table. Benjamin looks at you 4 and says, "Okay, good that you all finally got here. We got a live one for you. Hope you all are up to your universal vaccinations, because y'all are heading to 1215 AD. And I think with that, we will call it a session 0. So yeah, next month, everybody, we will be heading back to the medieval ages, 1215 AD. We will be starting in this base still, and everybody will get to equip themselves. We will have everybody just pick from that armory any kind of armor, weapons that they would like that would be fitting for that time period. So I'm excited to see what everybody chooses, because the heart for Danny, for Gwen, I'm not sure exactly what kind of weapon would come up with for a heart, but should be fun. And I am very, very, very excited to see this group of 4 people on their first mission next month. So yeah, well, I would like to go around the table again, just have everybody talk about anything they want to talk about, plug whatever they want to plug. We'll start with I forget where we started last time. Joe, what do you want to talk about, Joe?
Hi, I'm Joseph Timmis. I'm a huge nerd. Thank you for having me, Adam. I look forward to playing with this group. You can find me here in the Majestic Goose Network and over at the Nerd Asylum.
And then Danny?
Hi, I am Danny. You can find me pretty much all over the internet as Danielle Lenoir, and definitely hang out with the Majestic Goose folks. And I will be playing along during our 24-hour extra live stream and baking cake. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Ernest?
Yeah, I'm Hollow Invective. You can find me at Hollow Invective on Twitter. Don't have much going on right now except for what I'm doing with the Majestic Goose Network, but I'm always excited and ready to go.
And then last but not least, Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy, and you can find me at Tabletop Jeremy on Twitter. You can also find me on Dice Talk, where Gerundu and I have a talk show podcast where we interview a whole bunch of content creators and authors and cool people, and we talk about tabletop stuff. You can also find me as well as Adam on Eclipse, and Eclipse is a sci-fi fantasy thriller type D&D game. It is set in the future of Spelljammers, so it's loosely based on that, but a lot of it's original. It's a lot of fun. The most recent episode, it really starts getting pretty intense, and the next episode that comes out is going to be, I think, the most stressful and most action-packed episode yet. So make sure you check out Eclipse. You can also find me in the DMs Guild, where I have a couple D&D titles if you want to check those out. And then just make sure you tune in, next weekend when we're doing the 24-hour stream, and donate to Extra Life so you can save a life.
Yeah, so the only thing I really want to talk about is, well, first off, if you're not yet, excuse me, geez, I will beat this off one of these days. If you have not yet, go over to Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and search for Doom Clock and subscribe to the show. We are now on nearly all podcatchers. We're on like all the major ones, so go subscribe. All we've got right now is the prologue, but this episode will be up there edited down to either monthly or bi-weekly. Either way, it's gonna be an edited episode of this session 0. Go and follow us there and give us a 5-star rating and review. That's gonna help us kick things off and hit the new and noteworthy charts really early. Second thing I want to talk about is the Extra Life campaign next month, or not next month, next week, in less than 7 days from now, counting it being 10 o'clock, and it's going to be starting at 7 o'clock. We've got 24 hours of Twitch streams that we're going to be coming at you starting at 7 o'clock p.m. next Friday. It will be opening with NBA. It will then be going into an all-guest episode of a one-shot, and then a lot of video games over the nighttime hours. And then in the morning, we've got a Bind Stereo one-shot. We've got a solo rolling one-shot where it's actually going to be a duet rolling. We've got Mage Tower D&D one-shot. We've got a Roll for Weird one-shot, and then we have also got a Lore and Pour live recording / live stream. And then during that, we are going to be giving away so many giveaway prizes. Over 30 giveaway prizes. We're not going to be giving away any overnight, so because of that, we're going to have to give them away like every 20 minutes or so. So many giveaways, and we're going to give them away to all of our donors to the Extra Life campaign. So donate even as low as $1, $5, whatever you are able to pay and donate to Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Donate, and you will be entered into all of the giveaways throughout the event. And it's really good odds you'll be winning something, and they are great prizes, so go check that out. And yeah, we will be live the first Friday of May. I don't know what day that is. I guess it's going to be May 7th. Oh, it's the first day of May is a Saturday, so it's all the way back in May 7th. We will be live in the medieval times of Doom Clock, and we'll finally get to see these four in action. Thank you all so much for watching Session 0. I know the Session Zeros are a little bit, they're not as action-packed as the actual story, but I'm glad that you all stuck with us, and it's been a long time coming for this show, waiting for the system to come out and everything, but we are here now, and I'm so excited to get the episodes up on the podcast and to get Session 1 under our belts. So we will see you all. I don't know the next stream is off the top of my head, but we will see you soon. Thank you all for watching. We will see you in a little bit. Bye, everybody.